Hello, I'm Marty Hertman, the director of Mary's Place. Thank you for helping us ensure that no child sleeps outside in our community. You can donate via YouTube to help families stay safely in their own homes. I'm so excited to have Bartees Strange with us today. Stick around after the performance for an exclusive interview between Bartees Strange and Larry Mizell Jr.
This next song is called Boomer. Hey bro, look, I'm back. And that was way before I did some Ziggies in the act. That was back when I was doing Harlem Nights with 20 racks. They call me Hershey because of money coming relays. We on track. Woo! I relaxed. Woo! I told my girl that I was working. That's a lie. I'm in the trap. Told my mama I was saving. Fuck, I spent that shit on wax. Told my friends I couldn't make it. They don't know I got the bag. Man, I know most people gonna say what they wanna say. Most people others, they don't care about no other things. And sometimes it's kinda hard to tell exactly where I wanna go. I know it don't show. I know it don't show. And I can't even lift my hands up. That's what we dance for, Lord. I'm going in. And I win. I get all of my hopes up. Something exposed, Lord. I never win. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Yes, I'm the man. Walked across the street the other day to get a grind. Came back to the trap and smoked that shit with my old man. He told me that I'm the hardest nigga else in my head. You know me, that's a nigga on the block, even the hoes know. Smoking on the lot, they say that Scotty love the trees, bro. Ice ran on the corner and in jets, I call him Heathrow. Dripping since a youngin', I've been eating since a teen, bro. I know most people gonna say what they wanna say. Most people gonna smoke what they wanna smoke. And others, they don't care about no other things. And sometimes it's kinda hard to tell exactly where I wanna go. I know it don't show. No, it don't show. And I can't even lift my hands up. That's what we dance for, Lord. Going in, Lord. And right when I get all of my hopes up, something explodes, Lord. I never, you can't hurt me. I've been buried alive by the devil that's in them here. You can't save me. I've been buried alive by the devil that's in them. No, no. And you tell me that it's all a lie. I know. Is he holy? All I know is that he's gone to find me. This song's called In a Cab. I mean, like, who could ever depend on me? Counting my bands on me, give you one. Never could miss one beat, but know I could get something. Counting my bands on me, give you one. Yeah. Check my phone, there's an issue with the way it's phony. I don't give a damn, I'm rolling. Asking me the question phony. Walk out roaming, like I've won. Ain't nobody else in the building. I don't think it matters, I'm chilling. I can get the pain for the painful. I'll get the pesos, I'm getting started. Ooh. So lift me up, so I can be. You say you're better with water. You're praying to me, and all I need to early morn. So let me be. I've been up for 40 weeks, stressed out, hoping I could find a way to get my mind back on track. It's hard now, I believe back in, going down really late, hard to stay, crossing the sea again, flache. It ain't a problem, baby. It ain't a problem, baby. I've been on my way. Just hold you up. Destroy the pain. You say now. It's the only way I mean, like who could ever depend on me? Counting my bets on me. Give you one. Yeah. If I could walk on water, I would be at your place. So what do you get while they're around? Who do you miss? Are they in town? So tell me what's your name. I'm underground, and I could be your ghost. Wander around. Wander around. In the same time. I'm running. Believe in me. If I'm staying safe or on a tree, stay with me. If I'm staying out or roaming free, yeah. Boy, I seen it all come and go by me. Oh, boy, I seen everything I love past. And I believe in a world that's black and gold. Don't nobody gotta know. And I wish I could run somewhere low where nobody gonna go. And I wish I could run anywhere else but home. Don't no one know what's good, what's bad, or what else. And I can swear to y'all, don't nobody gotta know. If I found what happened to the souls I know. Wouldn't it be nice If everyone had problems, if everyone turned tail when you're around, is it mine or is it me? All of the time, and all I need is to be alone. Woo-hoo. But I will call. On Alameda, that's where we lost. If I died in the middle, if I died, I don't think they'd ever find me at all. I'd sit in the same place, starving. Hope they never see me fall. I love you, want you to ride out. Maybe take a trip to the mall. I'm hungry, starving. Thanks, KEXP. I'm Bartees Strange. We're all Bartees Strange.
Yes, you are watching KEXP live at home with Bartees Strange. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, Larry? How you doing?
Man, I'm fantastic. It was a great performance. You said you was going in. You went in, man.
Yeah,
All the way.
I went in.
For sure. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm so excited about that record. Like, it's one of my favorite records of the year.
Thank you.
So getting a chance to talk to you, I was really excited about coming in today.
Thank you. Yeah, this is dope. I appreciate that you like the record, and thanks to KEXP for being so supportive. Like, it means a lot. I've been listening and watching for years, so
right on.
It means a lot.
Right on. Where are you at today?
I'm in DC.
Okay.
I'm at my house. I'm in my basement.
Okay.
Chilling.
This is where it goes down.
Yeah, this is where I make a lot of stuff in this room. Yeah.
And you are making a lot of stuff. From what I saw, you've already completed your next record.
Yeah, it's I wrote it. It's done. I need to just run into the studio for a couple weeks and finish it, but it's written. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking for some more producers to be a part of it. So, you know, hit me up.
No doubt.
Yeah.
You are producing for some artists too. I know you probably can't talk about it right now, but I read that you were producing for some folks as well.
Yeah. I'm working on a bunch of records right now, which is cool. You know, it's like the dream. So,
Right
you know, I wish I could talk about them. Like, I'm trying to think of one I can talk about. But I don't think I can.
Exclusive.
Yeah. Well, there's a band called Cry Spot out of New York that I'm working with. They're brand new, but like if you like Priests or like the Yeah Yeahs, but like heavier,
dope.
They're gonna be dope.
Nice.
Great band.
Right on.
Yeah, great band.
Word, man. First, I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, Bartees, is that a family name?
Yeah. My dad's name is Bartees.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're a junior. I am too.
Yeah. Oh, cool. What's up?
The junior in me recognize the junior in you.
Yeah, real recognize real.
All day, man.
Yeah. My dad, he's a junior, but other than that, there's actually my oldest brother's name is Bartees too, which is wild. Yeah, my half brother. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but you're not a third. You're the junior.
Yeah, I'm the junior.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Word, right on.
Yeah.
And where are your folks from? I know that you were born in England. Your dad's in the military, so you moved around a bunch.
Yeah.
Where are your people from?
We're all from North Carolina.
Okay.
Like my mom and dad, all of our people are strung out through North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
We got my brother lives in Dallas now. My aunt lives in Dallas, so it's mostly like Southeast. That's kind of where we're all from. But yeah, I grew up in Oklahoma though. So,
right.
Random. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. You said North Carolina because I know that on Boomer, an amazing track. An amazing track. I had read that you said that your verses where you're rapping, like that's an homage to the baby.
Yeah.
From North Carolina.
Yeah.
Is that very intentional?
Yeah, very intentional. I'm so proud of the baby. It's weird to be like, I'm proud of someone who's does not know me and is wildly famous, but Charlotte, that's dope. It's cool to see, I'm a big fan of people coming out of places that aren't New York City or LA or Philly, it's so it's dope that he's been able to build what he built, with the homies from Charlotte. It's the same people. So it's inspiring, so yeah. And I love how he starts songs. It's just beat one, boom.
And that was the thing. When I read you said that, I was like, oh, he came in right on the one, just like the baby. That's a contextual clue that maybe a lot of people would miss.
Yeah, I maybe, but I tried it. Yeah. I hope that people catch it. But even if they don't, the baby is great. Everyone should listen to the baby.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can reference the baby and talk about, how huge it was to see bands like TV on the radio on TV and Block Party and see these bands that were mostly black and brown or had black membership and how inspiring that was. Having that frame of reference is really huge. And I see that talked about a lot in interviews with you about the, how you genre hop and anything. But I know that, to a certain kind of kid, that's nothing. That's how you live your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's kind of fascinating. Everyone likes to talk about, how are you moving through all these genres? And it's
right.
I listen to music.
Right.
I love music. I want to hear all of it. And as soon as I hear something I love, I want to know how to make it. That's how I am with everything in my life. Everything. As soon as I'm inspired by it, I'm like, how'd you do it? and then once I figure that out, I'm like, okay, this is how I would do it. And that's just kind of how I make things. And it's not that fascinating to me.
I know what you mean. When I kept reading that, it reminded me, well, one, it's something I totally get. Somebody, if you're black and you know about a lot of different genres, people are like, oh, you're so exceptional. And it's kind of like the musical version of, you're so articulate.
Yeah.
You know what
funny.
I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Watching, when I pull up to a show and people realize that I play guitar or whatever, they're always like, "Oh, you're a guitar player?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, Black people play guitar. Like, we've been playing guitars forever. My whole family. Like, people ask where I'm from, like you just did, but like my whole family is like generations and generations of players, Chitlin Circuit players, Jubilee singers, like just like throughout the Deep South forever. Like, like if you're in North Carolina and you ask about Donna Duck, like that's my mom. Like everybody knows Donna Cox. It's like my family. This is like what we've always done, is singing and playing instruments. So I'm fast. It's always interesting to me when people ask, how I came to find guitar, how I came to find stuff. And I'm always like, I'm afraid I'm going to underwhelm you. It's just like how you did.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not on you. It's in you. It's always been there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speak on that a little bit. I've read about how you toured through the state and through the South singing with your mom, singing opera.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my mom, I didn't sing opera with my mom necessarily, but she founded like a small opera company in Oklahoma called Cimarron Circuit Opera Company, which was where like I and my brother and sister and a lot of kids out of Oklahoma City and Norman and the surrounding rural areas like first started like seriously singing. And it was just like a little opera company she started. She taught voice at the University of Oklahoma and it was like attached to the school. So, I was singing in operas a lot, but, I was traveling with my mom mostly for her shows and for like singing in churches, which was what my mom was doing a lot of when we moved to the States. And so, I was just always watching great singers and great players from a really young age. And music's just always been a huge part of my life, especially like Black, soulful, and country music, like root music, like Holy Ghost, spiritual music. And I remember like when my parents didn't let me listen to secular music when I was a kid. And when I got to like 7th, 8th grade and had like instant messenger and my friends had cars and I started riding around in cars and seeing bands play. And I was like, yo, this feels like church. Like hardcore shows feel like Holy Ghost. Like everyone is like going crazy. It's like they're dancing in the halls, And that was like the big connection when I was like, music can do this to people. And like, and I know how to do it.
Right. I know how to tap in.
Yeah.
That's so powerful, that ecstatic experience that you get. And I mean, we all miss live music a lot. We're talking about that all the time. Who's that?
That's my dog. Sorry.
Right on. No, you good. That's what were the first kind of glimpses of that in that kind of secular music world when you were moving around?
Yeah, I mean, the first artist that I was like truly deeply shook by was 50 Cent.
Okay.
Like Get Rich or Die Trying is an underrated hip hop record for so many reasons. But the biggest thing it taught me was like the pre-chorus and like intro verses, like how he starts songs with like the chorus, Miniman, starting the song with the hook, do a verse, bring the hook back, do a verse, bring the hook back. That's the whole song. Boom. You got 3 hooks and 2 verses. That's the whole cut. Or like doing verses or hooks that never repeat and writing like linear songs with like an intro that's different than the first verse and a chorus that references the intro, but it's totally different. And then another verse and you're out. And I was just like, damn, this is fire. But that was huge for me. But when I saw like At the Drive-In play, like I remember being like, that is what I want to do. Like, this is emotional. It really touched me. And just knowing that they're from El Paso, which, I grew up in Mustang, which is not close to El Paso, but, I know the plight of people of color in these rural towns. And to know that this like Spanish speaking, like big haired, mad group of like Mexican kids were in West Texas writing like hardcore songs and filling up rooms, that shit. That really changed my life.
I believe it.
And then like, Block Party, TV on the radio, it just kept building the case for me wanting to like make the stuff. So, yeah.
That struck me so much reading interviews with you because I mean, and I think probably a lot of Black kids who maybe with their taste veer outside of what the mainstream tells you you're supposed to listen to. was really struck by bands like any bands that had black members. I remember in the early 90s, you know, because at the time, you know, it was like Dr. Dre, everything was G-funked out. Of course, I came from, you know, that city. But seeing like a Spin Doctors video of all things, you know, or Throwing Muses and they had black member, or Fishbone and Living Color. I was just like,
yes,
whoa, this is amazing. We get to have this.
Yeah. And that's how I feel about it now. But instead of like, we get to have this, I'm like, I want all that shit back.
That's right.
That's right. Like, I'm like, you know, and people have asked me like, why do you think there's so much like great black rock music right now? I'm like, it's existed for so long that now it's just like overflowing. Like you got Ganser, Namdi, Tasha, Bofle. It's just like, there's so many, like Eve's Tumor, like that record is.
Oh my God. That's my number one of the year.
Same.
Come on.
Like I was like, this is the best rock record I've heard in 5 years.
Yeah.
Easy. Like it's insane. It was like if Junie Morrison and George Clinton made a rock record.
Come on.
Know? Yes. And I was like, not to say that they weren't making rock records, but this was like just some new shit. You know, I was in love with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, I wanna like reclaim that space. You know, and that's kind of what the record's all about. You know, is like people think it's weird to see me do this, but it's not. And like, I hope then there will be more, you know? So I'm excited about the future of this world of music.
That's right. And there's such continuity to the beginnings, you know, to, you know, Sister Rosetta, or you name it, you know what I mean? It's always been happening. It's how it got transmitted in the first place.
Yeah.
Tell me about Mustang.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Mustang is a typical like rural edging into suburban, you know, white country conservative town. You know, we had like horse parking, you know, it's a big football school. I played football and basketball and ran track. You know, that was like what I was doing. And, you know, it was tough on my family. You know, it was a huge opportunity, and it was also a big L, you know, like my dad, you know, was military, and my mom's a singer. You know, they were together, you know, they weren't wealthy, but they had like decent jobs. And, you know, we got like a nice house out in Mustang, and probably bigger than anyone that we could afford in the city or anything. And so my parents thought it would be smart to live there. And I talked to my dad about like why he decided to move there. And he really was like, I want you to know how to like understand and like work around white people. Like he was like, that's going to be the most valuable skill you learn in your whole life. and he was like, we couldn't afford to live anywhere else also. So that was where we set up. But yeah, you know, really conservative town and really kind of scary for us, and watched my parents go through a lot of really like tough situations and work. And that trickled down to my high school and middle school experience. You know, me and my brothers and sister had to really protect each other. And, you know, it was you know, lived near like Klan members. And, you know, I had like, it was you know, it's a rural white conservative part of a very conservative state. You know, it's what you would expect. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I saw something about you were taking guitar lessons from somebody at a music store.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, I never really had guitar lessons, but I did have a guy named Dale who ran a guitar shop named CBR in Yukon, Oklahoma. And I was like, I would roll in there every chance I could. Like I'd ask my mom to just drop me off, and I would just sit there in the corner and just like play their guitar, and he would never tell me to leave. And all of his friends would come in, they're older guys, and they would just sit and like just trade licks and just play guitar and talk about the old days. And I remember just listening to them talk about being on the road and traveling and playing and laugh. I was just like, wow, like I hope I can like have a guitar shop one day and talk to my old friends about, you know, this. But anyways, that's how I learned a lot of like guitar licks, and fell in love with like country music and like playing with my hands and like claw hammer. And, you know, they put me onto a lot of music. Dale, like, you know, opened my eyes to, you know, how you can really play a guitar and like manipulate it. Like I remember one time he was telling me like, a lot of people judge how good you are on a lot of instruments by like how fast you can play or how technical the piece is. Like piano and violin is like a good example of that. But he was like, but guitar, like you're good when you're yourself, and he really taught me, like, don't try to be like anybody else. Like, just like play the thing you play and that's going to be good, and that was, that's probably why I never took a guitar lesson again.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah.
What an essential lesson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Be yourself on this thing.
Yeah. And that was in like a racist little town,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, as for all the bad things I say about Mustang, there were some people there that really like reached down, really saved my life. So, shout out to them.
Right on.
A real one. Yeah. Mm.
Were there any artists that were big touch points, entry points into country for you? Was that something you grew up with in your household also?
Well, like my parents didn't listen to a lot of country music, but they listened to a lot of blues and a lot of soul and a lot of old R&B. So like all the old Isley stuff, all the Brothers Johnson stuff, all that. Like I was hearing that. So that was one side. But in school, everyone was listening to country music. And I mean, I grew up on Garth Brooks Boulevard in Mustang, Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
Like literally on the street, South Highway 92, Garth Brooks Boulevard is where I lived, Belmont Crossing. And so country music was just a big part of my life. Just living there. But I fell in love with, honestly, people are going to clown me for this, but Hank Williams Jr. Like, yeah, I really like it. Like A Country Boy Can Survive was a song that I was like, whoa, I want to learn that. It was something about how simple it was and how profound it was and how clear the message was behind it. And I was like, maybe the song didn't age as well, whatever, but it's like, it was a really clutch song for me. But, latched onto a lot of like old country players. Woody Guthrie, of course, he's from Oklahoma. So, I fell in love with like folk playing and like finger picking and all that. So, yeah.
I feel you about Hank Jr. That's not somebody I would want to kick it with, but Family Tradition is just one of that song spoke to me so much. I was like, you're talking about my family right now.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, man. And like Toby Keith is from there. Blake Shelton's from there. I mean, it's just like innumerable country artists from Oklahoma. So if you're a guitar player, you end up playing country music at some point. Yeah.
Right. So that's coming into your world. You're going to hardcore shows. I was really struck by, and of course, this is how a lot of people came to know you, but you were talking about going to see the National and being struck by being one of the only people of color at the show. And then that led you to do some covers. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. Well, the National's probably my favorite band in the world. Whatever, for a million reasons. I can talk about that at any other time. But I went to this show in Southeast DC at this spot called the Anthem. Really nice spot. But it's in a part of DC that is like very black. And, as DC has gentrified, has remained very black. And so, like I've been to national shows before and I kind of know who the crowd is. So, but I kind of expected it to be a little different here because it's just like such high density of black people. And I remember walking in and just being like overwhelmed by like, not only that it was white people, but just like the type of white people. And I think you know what I mean? We're just like, it was just a very oppressive space. Like I felt like I did not belong there. And I was like, damn, like this feels like high school. Like, what's the deal? Like, why is this so hostile? And it just got me on this like thought loop. Like I was just like, yeah, like I can't be mad at these people for coming to the National show, white people, whatever. It's more like, why is it that like black people don't have a band like this to go to the show of in Southeast DC at this beautiful indie rock spot? Like, why aren't there more black bands like the National who have had like umpteen successful albums and the Grammy and, making movies and producing the Taylor Swift record and, being able to span like all this time and all of these genres and just grow and build this fan base over so much time. I was like, this is just like a quintessential successful working band. And I would love to see more black bands like that or more women like that or more gay people with that type of like, like power. Yeah. That's what I saw was the power of it.
Yes.
And I was like, I want to shift this. Like, I want to shift the power back to me.
And people who look like, I feel that. Yeah. And you really name something with the power because it's just like, I always trip on why didn't, and I'm not counting them out, but why didn't TV on the radio turn into something like that?
Yo.
And I mean, that so transformational seeing that
Yo.
band. And I mean, so influential. And I hear so many echoes of them in your stuff that just made my heart swell, man, for real.
Yo, thank you. Wolf Like Me changed my life, dog.
Same. Right.
Like, and I mentioned that in like Mustang. I say, are you ready for this one? You know, are you ready for a beast from the southern coast? It's a wolf. It's me. You know, it's like I'm trying. Yes, like I like, you know, TV on the radio. They are like so legendary, and you know, I hate to even like talk about it as like, oh, I wish they would have been bigger, because I hate to think of the, you know what I mean? Like,
sure. And they probably have done exactly what they wanted to do. But
exactly,
when you're talking about the power and the representation, that's something that wasn't necessarily handed them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they deserved it. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Such an influential band.
For sure.
Would love another record.
Absolutely. I hope that's cooking. I've seen that 10-Day released some singles in the last couple of years, right?
Yeah. I feel like he's always making stuff. He's like I don't know him at all, but every time I'm on his page, he's like, oh, I just did this little like short story. Well, I made a couple songs. He seems like something's always going on. So
I just got a zine of his in the mail. I forgot I'd ordered, you know, and I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad he's making stuff. But I want him to be like huge. I want him to be bigger. I want him to be Aaron Dessner.
Right.
Like, I want him to be a millionaire. You know, like I want him. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Yeah,
I feel that.
Yeah.
So, you know, this performance in this interview, it's presented by Mary's Place, and we spoke about this a little bit. You experienced some houselessness yourself, as have I. Been through that, just kind of, you know, getting out of my household, trying to figure out how to move around the world. Ended up, you know, without places to stay.
Same. Mm-hmm.
You know, how did that happen for you?
Yeah. When I moved, you know, I was just like a college kid in Oklahoma, and I interned a lot and did everything I could to get out of Oklahoma. Got an internship in DC. Of course, like internship didn't really pay. So I worked nights at a bookstore and tried to find an apartment, found a pretty rough spot that I lived in someone's shed that, you know, no water or nothing like that. For $500 a month, which was crazy. I was like, this is the best deal I can get. But anyways, they were like, you know, stealing my stuff. So I had to find a place I couldn't find a place to live. I didn't have money to, and definitely wasn't going home. And didn't want to tell my parents it wouldn't happen. It couldn't do that. So yeah, I just kind of slept in my car, or like at the Wheaton metro station, you know, because that's what I would take to work. So I was like, yeah, I'll just park by the metro station, and just kind of did that for a while. Until I got my first job. So, you know, houselessness is an issue, a real problem, obviously. And if you live on the West Coast, I'm sure that it's something that you're like very familiar with. It's so prevalent, you know, from LA to San Francisco all the way up. So, you know, I'm in DC, and, you know, there's like, you know, a slew of issues with housing in the city. Prices are going up, you know, people are being displaced so regularly. And during a pandemic where there's so little that you can depend on, it's heartbreaking that so many people, particularly people of color and women of color, can't depend on a place to stay or to raise their families, you know. And it's a shame that in the greatest country on earth, like, we have so many people who can't find a house, can't find a job. And, you know, it's some, you know, so shout out to Mary's Place for addressing this acutely, and, you know, keep on moving.
Right on. And thank you for speaking on that, and thank you for doing this. I really appreciate you and your energy you're bringing right now. I'm really looking forward to everything that you're working on going forward.
Thanks.
Yeah. When can we expect some new Bartees Strange music?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's not even up to me anymore.
No doubt. Right.
Yeah. No. I don't know. I might have some music come out in December. Something, you know, little piece that you know, it's cool. I like it. You know, if you like house music, if you like to dance, you know, it's fun. So it'll be cool. Yeah, it'll be cool.
Right on.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, stay tuned. There'll be more.
Right on.
Yeah.
Brother, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing, you know, your experience and your music with us.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for having me. This means a lot, for real.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on, bro.
All right, Larry.
All right. Great talking to you, brother.
All right. See you, Junior.
All right. See you, Junior. Peace out.
All
Been
right,
talking
peace.
to Bartees Strange live on KEXP.